Well, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here today. Camille Sblendario. I work for ADP, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the new changes for small business owners here in Washington State. There's some new legislation that was recently passed regarding retirement planning for small businesses. So we'll be discussing some of the new regulations here in Washington State, talking a little bit about the easiest ways for a small business compliance with the new mandates. We'll talk about some of the given to business owners when implementing retirement programs. And at any time, if anybody here live has any questions, feel free to let me know. Okay, so I am so excited and honored to be given this opportunity today. I recently met Stacy to a local PA, a Korean community, so I'm excited to be here today. I want to go through a little bit about our agenda really quickly. So today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about me. We'll talk a little bit about some of the retirement statistics that are happening so that you kind of understand why the states are now passing these retirement mandate laws. We'll talk specifically about what the Washington State mandate requires, when that takes effect, the easiest way to be in compliance with that. Again, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Secure Act tax credits. These are federal tax credits that are being given to business owners today. How to meet the mandate, qualify for the tax credits, and then what my organization does to help the small to medium-sized businesses here in the Seattle area. Okay. So there are many reasons why the states are now passing these retirement mandates. But the biggest reason is because they are saying that the United States is currently in a retirement crisis. 33% of Americans have $0 saved for retirement. In the past, many of our grandparents used to be able to rely on Social Security, and by putting money into Social Security, that used to allow them to live a dignified and comfortable life in retirement. Unfortunately, that isn't the case anymore. Today, Social Security has not kept up with inflation or growth. We all know how things are very expensive, everywhere from going to the grocery store to our living expenses here in the Puget Sound, to our medical needs. So we need to be supplementing the Social Security system. One of the things that a lot of people aren't aware is those that are receiving Social Security today, so in 2024, I guess last year, the average payout for the average American was $1,770 per month. Especially those of us here in Seattle, we know that that's not going to go very far, especially with our housing. So this is something that a lot of employees, a lot of business owners, they kind of put off. They don't think about the actual, how will they pay for all of the items that they need in retirement. And so that's what we're going to kind of be talking a little bit about today. The other thing to think about is that 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So saving for retirement can often seem daunting. If people have the ability, though, to deduct a small piece of their paycheck before they get their check, we are seeing that that is a successful way for people to accumulate the savings that they need to live a dignified retirement. So that's kind of why the states are doing these retirement mandates. Of course, retirement is a goal for everyone. Only, or I guess 69% of people say that they feel that they are behind retirement savings. But if employers are saving for retirement a small bit every single pay period, it can mean a drastic savings, a drastic amount into their retirement. So that's kind of why the states are really looking at these mandates across the country. So Washington We've just passed this law. It's called the Washington Saves Mandate, SAVES. This was passed here in 2024. We are now the 16th state to put something like this in place. So this has already been in place in states like California, Oregon, Colorado, New York. So Washington has just passed this here in 2024. Essentially what this is doing is it is requiring every business that has been in place for 2 years and has employees that total an hours worked requirement of 10,400 hours per year. So that basically equates to about 5 full-time employees. Okay, so they're looking at the total hours worked that your total employees work during the calendar year. If you've been in business for 2 years, if your employees work 10,400 hours or more, then you will be required to participate and either put a plan in place on your own. So a simple IRA, a 401k program, a SEP IRA program, or you will be forced to participate in the state plan, okay? If you have a qualified plan on your own, you have the ability to opt out of participating with the state program. The state program is basically they call it a forced Roth IRA. So it's basically a Roth IRA through the state that you will be required to offer and manage for your employees if you do not have a plan first. What we've seen in other states is that they are fining employers for non-compliance. They are giving us some time to get every business in compliance. So this takes effect by July 1st of 2027. Okay, so we've got a little bit of time to get something in place before we need to worry about the fines. So want to make sure that this matches. So we can see all of the different states. There are many states that have these mandates in place. I want to make sure that, so what the states are looking at is where the employee resides. So oftentimes I run into business owners here in Washington that maybe have one employee in Oregon or California. And the Oregon and California mandate rules would apply to your business if you have an employee based there. So for example, Oregon and California both have, if you have one part-time employee, you are required to offer a retirement plan. So if you were in the state of Washington, even though our mandate doesn't take place until 2027, the Oregon and California laws require that the plan is in place by the end of 2025. Something to think about. We want to make sure that we are aware, where do our employees reside and what are the state mandate rules in those states. It's not where the business is located, it's where the employees are located. Okay? So here's just kind of a look at the country right now. We obviously have the dark have already passed a mandate. The orange are ones that have a mandate law that has been passed and implementation is. Then we have a lot of these smaller purple passed legislation. We have states that have proposed legislation, and there are only 1, 2, 3, 4 that have no legislation or haven't brought it up in front of Congress yet. So this is definitely something that's moving across the nation. It's becoming a requirement no matter where employees are in the states. I anticipate more and more states will continue to be adding these mandates just based on where the Social Security system is today. Okay. So the good news is when a business implements a retirement program, the business actually will qualify for these federal tax credits. So the federal tax credits are something, it's called the Secure Act 2.0. And this applies to the business when you implement the retirement program on your own. So whether that's the SEP, 401k, no matter what plan, as long as it's a qualified retirement plan that you implement on your own, the business will qualify for these tax credits. There's two main parts to the tax credit. So the first part of the tax credit is designed to help offset or eliminate the administrative costs that go into running your benefit program. So this is always calculated based on how many eligible employees you have. But for a lot of businesses, this will completely cover the administrative costs for the first 3 years you offer a program. Now, depending on what type of retirement program you implement, the 401k is the most common, so that's the one that we're going to be speaking about today. It's also the only one that allows the business to determine if they want to match or not. So it does not require company matching. If the business did choose to do company matching, again, what that means is that it's given to eligible employees. The business can customize what that match looks like. It's not required, but if you do give your employees a match, the federal government will actually give you a tax credit to help offset that match. So the federal tax credit for matching is up to $1,000 per employee per year, and that's on a sliding scale over the course of the first 5 years. Okay, and that's given to just those employees that actually put their own money into the plan. So when a business implements a retirement program, the business chooses who is eligible for the retirement plan. So an employee must work for me for 6 months or 90 days. You get to determine those rules. And then once the employee chooses if they want to enroll or not, match is only given to those that actually participate with their own money. And that business would get that additional tax credit above and beyond covering the administrative costs. Okay? So that's good news. The federal government's making it easier than ever to implement retirement programs for your small business. I want to make sure I'm... Okay, great. So 401k plan. This is the most common type of retirement program that a small to medium-sized business is implementing right now. They keep adding new features to the 401k plans. They have designed 401k plans for the very small business. So we help businesses with no employees, just owners put these plans in place. We have businesses with 1 or 2 employees put 401ks in place, up to a few hundred. So there are different types of 401k plans based on the size of your company and the needs of your company. But it's the most flexible plan, and it is the only retirement program that does not require an employer contribution to the employees. So many business owners are implementing a 401k program with no match. They are doing this to be in compliance with the state mandate to qualify for the tax credits, and maybe they have a goal of adding matching later. It's really up to them if they ever add matching in the 401k plan, so it's the most flexible plan. It is also the most flexible where the business owner gets to really decide who's going to be eligible for the program. How do I want this information to go out to my employees? The 3 are something plan. Really the reason why small businesses would want to implement their own plan. So of course, saving for retirement is the biggest part of a 401k or a retirement program, but it's also for reduction in taxes. So this can not only be a reduction for the business itself, the business owners, because they can lower the amount of federal income tax that they pay when participating in a 401k program, but also for every single employee. every employee, when they are deciding how much they want to put into their retirement program, gets to decide if that money is deducted onto the pre-tax plan, which basically is reducing your tax liability today, or if they're putting their money into the Roth 401k, which of course is going to be reducing their tax liability in retirement. So we have those, both are options within the 401k plan. So reduction in taxes for both the business owner and the employees is the second largest reason that businesses are implementing the plans. The third R is for recruitment and retention. So oftentimes I work with really small businesses, especially like the dental practices right now. That's a very tough industry here in the Seattle in the Seattle region to keep good people. So that's the first thing that I often hear from dental offices is we're having a hard time keeping our really good employees. And this can be a great tool to help with retention and recruitment. Of course, the program can help employees get ready for retirement. So within our programs, we have something called a retirement calculator that every employee is given. It's a nice little tool on their app that they get, and they can put in exactly their age, how much they're hoping to participate at, and it will tell them if they will be ready by their goal age of retirement. So retirement readiness is a big part of the 401k plan. Again, the idea of giving employees the opportunity to save every paycheck before they get that paycheck and have that money grow over time. The IRS recommends we all participate and save for retirement every single year we're working. I've been doing this and helping small businesses implement retirement plans for over 12 years. And in all my 12 years, I've never had anyone say, I wish I wouldn't have started so early. It's normally all about the timeliness. So we want to make sure people are given this opportunity. The sooner, the better. Again, 401k plans also have the most flexible plan design, just like I mentioned. Do we want to match or not? Do I want to participate pre-tax or in a Roth? But it also has the highest contribution limits available. So if there are any employers that are, or employees that are looking to maximize their tax shelter or maximize their retirement, the 401k has the highest contribution limits available. So when we talk about plan design, of course, this is going to be very specific based on the goal of the company. So we have been helping small businesses from small restaurants, teriyaki stands. I've been helping those on the side of the road put 401k plans in place. From dry cleaners to dental offices to law firms to restaurants, nail salons. So every business has a little bit of a different goal and different employee needs. That's the really nice thing about this program is you can really structure the plan based on the goals of the group. Do we have family members that are part of the ownership? Do we want to make sure that the owner's children are part of the program? So this plan allows for us to really design it specific to the goals of the company. Again, it's for any size business. We've got different programs for every type of industry. And the idea is that we make it very, very easy to be in compliance with the law, make sure that employees are educated, and that's all part of the easy to use plan design. So I want to talk a little bit about my organization, ADP. So I work here in the Seattle area. Like I said, I've been helping small businesses design retirement plans for over 12 years. ADP is now one of the largest record keepers for retirement in the country. We are also a payroll company. That was our core business and how we started. We actually pay 1 in 5 Americans on payroll. But retirement is one of our largest sources of helping clients as well. So it's one of our largest departments. We have over 3.7 million plan participants in our retirement programs today. We're moving over $138 billion in assets for our clients. So this is definitely a large part of what we do, and we tailor it based on the client's needs. One of the things that comes up when you retirement program for your business is there are some tasks that need to happen, and the benefit to having your own plan is that you can outsource a lot of the moving parts within the retirement program and offload the administrative tasks and also the liability associated with these programs. So when a client is using services and the 401k together, what that really means is that the owner gets to be hands off. When an employer adds an employee into the payroll system, for example, we're now tracking eligibility for those employees. We will communicate with the employees when they become eligible for the retirement program automatically. With all of the programs now, it requires that an employee opt in or opt out of their retirement program. So that would then be something that we take on. We have that information in the system. Employees will opt in or opt out directly with us. If an employee opts into a retirement plan, they choose at what level they want to save. So maybe I want 6% of my pay to go into my retirement account, but next month I want to change it to 0, or I want to change it to 10. Employees would do all of that directly with us, and it would automatically update in the system so that the employer isn't responsible for all of those changes. Another big part of retirement planning is once the money is deducted from employees' pay, it's required to be invested very quickly. So that's something that we do automatically. If an employee is using us for payroll, they're hands off, they run payroll, that money's automatically wire transferred directly to each employee's retirement account. So it's very, very easy. At the end of the year, all of the compliance testing, the tax filing that's required for the retirement plan would be automatically completed for the business. And then that tax credit package that itemizes the Secure Act tax savings that the organization is eligible for is sent to the employer. It's already kind of created there, so it's a very easy process for their CPA to fill out when doing the tax return. We want to make sure we're not having anybody miss out on that free federal money. So we do a tax credit package that will help their CPA. So this is kind of the beauty of having to each other. Of course, ADP's retirement services can be a standalone product. So if they don't use us for payroll, or that's okay, you can still upload this information to us after you run payroll for the 401k administration. So I think I talked really fast today. I didn't mean to. It's a smaller group here today, so thank you so much. So I am actually here locally, and I am going to give my contact information to the Korean Business Association. I want to make sure that if you need anything from ADP, it's always helpful to call a local representative because we do partner with your local CPAs. Unfortunately, if you go to our website, it will direct you to someone on the East Coast. So we want to make sure you're always coming directly to my team here in Seattle. So I'm going to just list out my phone number for anybody that's watching so they have it. But my direct line is 503-998-4676. And whether it's retirement or human resources, I'll be really the point of contact to direct you to any needs that you have here local in Seattle for ADP. I would, of course. I would love some questions. Okay.
You kind of mentioned that the business owners don't have to use the ADP payroll to have the ADP retirement services, and it's something I cannot really imagine, like how can, because retirement account really related to the payroll. So
Yeah.
how does ADP manage the retirement services alone?
Yeah. So the question was, so when ADP isn't, how do we do the 401k plan? And it's actually very easy. We have a system, we call it Web Direct, and it would then be where we act as that's how many 401k providers act. You basically have a system that you would go to after you run payroll. You would submit what just happened, so how many employees just had money deducted. You would hit submit, and then we would still do the wire transfer. So it's just one extra step where you're getting us that payroll data after you run so that we know who's contributing. Often CPAs will submit that information to us. So we make it very, very easy. We will still handle all of the compliance, all of the education, everything related to the retirement program. Yeah, great question.
Could you introduce more about ADP, what companies or small businesses you actually work with in the small size? For me, ADP is really the huge company works with and it's unbelievable.
Right, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, so that's actually a big misconception about ADP. We are the largest payroll company in the country. Like I said, we pay 1 in 5 Americans, but a majority of our business, and where I specialize, is actually in the small business world. So, of course, with a large organization like us, we have a software system that fits every business's needs, but I my day working with businesses under 50 employees, but to be honest, here in the state of Washington, that's most likely under 10 a lot. So we work with every size business, and every industry. So from lawyers and dentists to construction workers to small restaurants to dry cleaners to nail salons, any industry you think of, I'm probably visiting on a weekly basis. And so we work with every size company, and we have a solution that's tailored specifically for that size. Yeah.
The last question is, can you explain more about the investment options? Like, so let's say the employee is participating in the ADP.
Yeah.
How do you offer the investment options?
Great question. Great question. So of course, we're going to be managing every aspect of the program. So we are considered the administrator of the plan. That's ADP's role. So what we're doing is moving the money, all of the compliance that's needed. But we actually partner with some of the great and the largest investment companies out there. So if a business owner works with a local financial advisor, we would basically partner together. That financial advisor would customize the fund lineup that's given to employees. So that is one way that we can structure the retirement plan. So work with your current financial advisor, and they'll customize the fund menu, and we'll do all of the administrative aspects. If a client doesn't work with a local financial advisor, and we actually use a model, we call it a direct model, where everyone would be given a menu of mutual funds with names like Fidelity, Vanguard, so some large corporations that you're probably familiar with. Every employee would be given a wide variety of investment options to fit every need. So there's going to be conservative options to more aggressive options. So each employee is directing and choosing what is most appropriate for their age and their investment profile. Yeah.
So very helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.